Go ahead, Koetter. What you say?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Atlanta Falcon Nation, what it do? We saw we come in a little late. We kind of hit a technical snag, so bear with us. We here now. Let me go ahead and introduce the guys for the night. This is your heavy hitters every Tuesday night. On my left, you got your boy, the mad scientist, Mad Mike Sports in the building. At the bottom of your screen, we call him the voice of reason. You can call him the calm before the storm, Mr. Utah Sports, and me, the sixth man of the group, Just K Styles. What's going on, fellas? How we doing tonight?
Chilling, man. What up with you?
Man, nothing much. Like I said, after a devastating loss that we saw right there, hey, I wonder how
y'all little bitches they're already in it. Man, you'll sit your little $2 ass down somewhere. Nobody worry about your little shitty ass.
Hey,
my bad.
Hey, before we get
why y'all worry?
Hey, let's not worry about that. Let's go ahead and get these shout outs going on before we start the show, man. We got Jamarius 58 Gilliam. Like I said, he the first one in tonight. We're gonna say what's happening, people. We got the Loch Ness. Hey, Twisted Torch TV. Hey, that's your boy right there. We got Devon Stanifer, Paul Mack, 34A TM05, and Just J Rock.
We're gonna get to the rest of about real names. Damn. Motherfucker can't spell. You know
Hey, it's called being different, man. You gotta be different sometimes.
Man, look, man, y'all act like y'all had the damn DM with the damn Mike 205 345 67. Man, you sit down with that bullcrap.
Hey, shit! You don't want nobody taking your name. You gotta be different. But Wallace Smith, what's going on? So let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and start it off. I was about to say, coming off that loss that we had on Sunday, got a couple days to think about it. Let's go ahead and get your thoughts about the game. I'm gonna go ahead and start with you, Drew.
Oh man, I did a video, man. I felt like I had a confessional last night making my video because I was freaking pissed off, man. After watching that game Sunday, I was ticked off. When you come off a bye week, you got to be prepared. And I know we're supposed to touch on this. I don't know if y'all want me to talk about the coaching staff right now, but looking at the game,
man.
Run with it.
Hey, man, Raheem Morris, I didn't like what I heard out of the media session. To me, his chances of being a head coach are dead at this point. As a head coach, you have to take responsibility. That's the number one thing. You never want to throw your players under the bus. You never want to throw anybody under the bus, really, but you be honest with the media. Like, we're not dumb. We watched the game. Be honest. Like, if they ask you, were we balanced on offense? Just answer the question. That's not throwing Dirk Koetter under the bus to say that we weren't balanced. That's answering the question and being honest. And I feel like Raheem Morris, he basically tried to play us. He tried to beat around the bush. Instead of just answering the questions that the media was asking, he kind of tried to blame Matt Ryan for holding on to the ball too long on certain plays and things of that nature, when he really should have just came out and said, hey, look, we did not have these guys ready to play. We came off a bye week. We didn't have the right proper game plan. And basically, the Saints kicked our butts today. They outcoached us. Pretty much, that's what it was. We were outcoached on Sunday. If you look at Sunday's game, that was pure. That's called outcoaching. Period. They out-schemed us. Sean Payton and his coaching staff, Dennis Allen, they were ready for what the Falcons were going to do. And that's what we talk about. This team, these coaches, they refuse to make adjustments. We continue to talk about it. Dirk Koetter, if you've seen what they were doing, playing at basically two-man, playing two safeties, two high safeties, and basically just manning up on everybody else, hugging up on our receivers, not letting them get off the line with free releases. Dirk Koetter did nothing to combat that. We didn't see any no huddle up tempo. We didn't see any stacks. where you have 3 wide receivers, like bunch formations to try to get these guys open. We've seen nothing. We've seen none of that. So I blame this loss solely on the coaching staff. I don't blame it on Matt Ryan. I don't blame it on the players, because to me, the defense actually played pretty well in the first half. Going into halftime, it was 10-9. The defense played pretty well, other than Deion Jones basically running down the middle of the field, and he kept running. I don't know what he was doing on that one play where he was chasing, I think it was Emmanuel Sanders down the middle of the field. For whatever reason, it looked like he was in man coverage against Deion Sanders. He was trying to cover the middle third, and he just kept running. So Deion Jones, I don't know what he was doing on that particular play. But you've seen Darqueze Dennard hustle down the field and punch the ball out. Unfortunately, Keanu Neal had already touched him when he was on the ground. So the defense played pretty well. That was really the only explosive play they got in the first half. So as much as we want to rag and kind of say the defense played bad, it wasn't until the second half when we continued to go 3 and out that the actual defense started to struggle. And that was just because of fatigue, really. If you look at it, they just wore down over time. I really think the defense played pretty well. They didn't really get consistent pressure, and that's been our biggest issue. We consistently talk about it. If you watched the Monday Night Football game last night, the biggest weakness with this Falcons team is we can't get pressure with our front four, and that's what the New Orleans Saints did really well on Sunday against us. They got pressure with their front four. Hendrickson, Cam Jordan, Onyemata, all of those guys had a good game. I mean, they were just bringing forward, and then in the second half, when they seen that we couldn't block them, they really just started to overwhelm Matt Ryan, because then they started sending blitzes, sending fives at us, sending Demario Davis on blitzes. Because once they realized we were kind of reeling and we were on our heels, they just turned the dogs loose on Matt Ryan. And once they did that, I mean, it was pretty much over. Like, Matt Ryan, he took way too many hits in this game. Way too many hits. And if we want Matt Ryan to make it through this season, we have to protect our franchise quarterback. That's paramount. And the way you do that, if you can't block them, let these guys, we talked about it numerous times, let our offensive line run block. It's a lot easier to run block and go forward than it is to be backpedaling the whole game. So I feel like we did our offensive line a disservice. It kind of reminded me of the game, if you guys remember, a couple years ago when we faced Dallas, and the one kid couldn't block Adrian Claiborne, and they left that guy on the island by himself, and they wouldn't make any adjustments. They wouldn't chip. They wouldn't do anything. I think the guy's name was Bale, if I remember correctly, but he was like a right tackle, a backup right tackle for the Cowboys. I think matter of fact, it might have been Chaz Green, if I'm not mistaken. But they left him on the outside by himself. Yeah, they left Chaz Green out there by himself and let Adrian Claiborne eat him alive. And what has Mike said numerous times about Isaiah Oliver when Dan Quinn was here? If you see the guy keeps getting burnt with streak route and streak patterns and 9 route, you don't leave this guy on an island by himself with no safety help. That's just stupid. You don't do the same thing expecting a different result. And that's what I'm seeing with this coaching staff, is that we're doing the same exact things every single week, and we're expecting a different result. It's a reason why we started 0-5. And this team now is reverting back to what we were doing with Dan.
What did I say about that, though?
And that's all been the same thing over and over and over again. And that's why I say at this point, I'm done with this coaching staff. Blow it up. Get rid of every single person on this coaching staff, because they're not making the adjustments. And they're basically sending this team out to fail. They're setting these players up for failure every Sunday. And we expect a different result, but it's like they're doing the same thing every single week. Every single week.
Let me tell you something, man. And I gotta say this. I've said this over and over again. You guys continue to tell. I say this. You can go back through the last 10 videos. I've been saying this. The last 4 or 5 shows that we've done, I've been saying this. When you see a player or players continue to get beat the exact same way, it is no longer on the players. It is all on the coaching. This is exactly what happened in Pittsburgh. You got to remember that atrocious game against Pittsburgh when they got sacked like 6 to 7 times in the same game. And then you fast forward to the game against the Bucs. Same thing. He got sacked like 8 times in that game. Go back to the Rams. You remember that game? I think he got sacked like 8 times. It's the same stuff over and over again. How do these same players go from looking like Pro Bowlers, and then one game is always 1 or 2 games out of the season where they look absolutely pedestrian? That is all coaching. And that punk crap. I cannot believe what I heard from these two coaches. That crap right there, they should have been fired immediately after I heard what I heard on that press conference. They took no responsibility for that trash behind game they come in. It's the same thing. Let's line up in 4 receivers, 5 receivers. Matt Ryan is not he's not a Michael Vick. He's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to outrun the best athletes on the defense. He's just not going to do that. He might outrun the linebacker here and there, given the right angle and whatnot, but he's not that type of athlete where you put him in 4 or 5 and then basically you leave him on one-on-one to be either their best linebackers who are they're extremely fast and their safeties and corners. Matt Ryan can't give on those guys. So why are you putting them in 4 wide receivers, okay, and running long-ass developing plays? Long developing plays. And they did not change it up the entire time. They were sending linebackers, they were sending safety, they were sending cornerbacks, and they never threw one freaking time to a running back. He did not throw the ball to a tight end. He did not throw a screen. As a matter of fact, he threw 2 screens in the first beginning of the game, but quote unquote to him, it didn't work. So I just got rid of it. It's embarrassing as a coach for you to not be big enough. You blame your Hall of Fame quarterback and said he was the reason why. You said the receivers. You said Julio Jones. You said Calvin Ridley. You said everybody was at blame. He said he couldn't. Matt Ryan was holding the ball on too long. He said the receivers wasn't getting open, and he said the offensive line wasn't blocking. He threw everybody under the bus. I don't give a damn who. I don't care who doesn't like this, but at least we never saw that from Dan Quinn. He always said we didn't do the job. We didn't do it. Never once have I heard Dan Quinn throw anybody under the bus. Even when we know in Super Bowl 50, we got absolutely destroyed and Kyle Shanahan cost us that Super Bowl. He never even once said it was all Kyle Shanahan. He took the blame for it. That's what leaders are supposed to do. That's exactly what the Falcons need. They need leaders and they need men. This coward Raheem Morris, and I'm saying this absolute. This is the absolute truth. He is a coward. Dirk Koetter is even a bigger coward. And Arthur Blank should be ashamed of himself for even keeping those guys after what I heard. Yes, we're talking about accountability and whatnot, but what's the accountability for the coaches? Where's the accountability for the coaches? When are they going to step up and say, I did something wrong? These guys never say they did anything wrong. That game plan was the exact same game plan that we saw against the Pittsburgh, against Buccaneers. Go back and watch the game. The long developing plays, Matt Ryan gets sacked and they just tee off on them. And the Falcons they stay in no 4 wides, they stay in no 3 wides, and they never in max protect. Coaching matters. Does not matter if you have elite talent. Coaching matters. And we're seeing that right now. It's absolutely disgusting to see coaches. I'm not even worried about how many sacks and how many pressures they got. I'm embarrassed as a team to see my coaches throw everybody under the bus. And that's just my thoughts, man.